Welcome to Conversations with My Real Friends. I'm Jennifer. I'm here with my friend Jorge. Jorge is with Century 21 Real Estate Alliance, and we are going to be talking about the NAR lawsuit and kind of where it's going, where it's at, how it's affecting real estate. So, Jorge, what do you think the long-term implications of the NAR case are going to have on commissions and real estate agents in general?
Well, there's going to be different impacts. I don't think that it's still too early on to determine how it's going to all settle out.
I agree with that.
Sorry about the pun. But the
settlement is not done yet at the time we're filming.
Yeah, the settlement is not done yet, and things are settling. So I have been, for the last 2 years, encouraging my agents to improve the way that they interact with clients. Mm-hmm. We knew, I had a very strong feeling, and there was a very strong indication that the way that we did business was definitely going to change.
Right.
So I've been excited about it. The buyer representation agreement is not new. It's been around for over 30 years.
Right.
My first interactions, I've been in the business since 1993, actively helping in real estate, both in sales or in escrow, mm-hmm. and back into brokerage, etc. With the implementation of this law that Gavin Newsom has signed, our governor in California, which is AB 2992, it's leveled out the playing field when it comes to the buyer representation agreement.
Yes.
Why am I so excited about it? Because it really encourages our agents to do better. Mm-hmm. From open houses, having the client, having the client sign in and say, hey, I would like for you to acknowledge that I shared with you the 4 important aspects of why I'm here. Right. I'm hosting this as my job as a listing agent, and my duty is to the seller. Mm-hmm. Number 2, that the conversations that we'll be having are not going to be confidential, which means that I will provide my seller, my client, the feedback as to how you in the market are reacting to the property. Right. Both from condition of the property to the pricing of the property and where they are, and what else would they like to see in order to make the house more appealing. Right. When it comes to the representation, as far as the agency, that will be disclosed to you once you decide to put an offer. Right. And more importantly, if you want to buy this property or any other property, you should interview a real estate agent. And then now, as a consumer, as a buyer, you have the opportunity to negotiate the fee. Right. And one of the biggest things that I remind our agents, when it was structured where the listing agent was sharing their commission, it was a commission. Today, based on this new agreement that we have, and everybody having to deal with that in California specifically, especially when the law becomes effective, and I think it's January 1st. Correct. It's now becomes a fee. Right. So I, as a real estate agent representing a buyer, should be having this conversation. Yes, you would like to see this house, but let's talk about the way that I get paid. Right. And the services that I provide, mm-hmm. and what is it that I offer you as a value in exchange for that fee. Mm-hmm. And I love it because people are actually responding very well to it. Right. And for those agents that are not necessarily interested in improving the way that they do business, or more so to provide a good service to their client, mm-hmm. They're not necessarily interested in this, or they're not necessarily happy about these changes. For a change, I as a broker, am excited mm-hmm. about this because we've been talking about this for over 2 years. Yep. We've been encouraging our clients, our agents, to do a better job. Mm-hmm. I went on a 40 office tour across the state. I think that I held about 22 workshops across the state. The buyer representation agreement. We discussed 3 items. How do you interact with clients or visitors at an open house? How do you encourage them to sign or at least acknowledge the fact that you're there under this new way of doing business? Mm-hmm. And then also, how do you explain the buyer representation agreement and the options that they have available? May that be one property on a very short term, or now up to 90 days on what I call the permanent buyer representation agreement with a limit of 90 days at a time. Right. Now, an agent, if they articulate their value, mm-hmm. they're not going to be limited to a certain number that was dictated by the listing agent.
I agree.
So if you have a strategy in place, I have strategies in place that I've been using, and I've been teaching it to my agents, and they've been very successful.
Right.
Interesting, what we're seeing out there is actually a number that is higher than they were expecting to do. So the prepared agent is going to thrive. The person that is not interested in improving their skill set or articulating their value proposition, those agents are likely not going to continue to be in this business because they're not looking for it to be better, they're looking for it to be easier, and quite frankly, it's not going to get easier.
No.
It's going to be much more complicated, but it's good for the consumer from my perspective.
I actually think it's good for the agents too. The agents who are taking this seriously and who see this as a business and who are able to articulate what they provide will all be fine.
Yes, I agree. And I'll be honest with you. I'm not approaching this from a theoretical approach or hypothetical approach. I'm actually out there on the field testing this.
Right.
It's not easy. We have to change the way that we do business. And now that my wife is, we're doing open houses together, and she's like, why did you not articulate the whole thing when you were talking to this person and then the other person? Well, the other person came in with their agent. Yeah. Right? I don't have to say it to them.
Exactly.
They should have done their job. This person, they didn't come with an agent, so I did have to explain to them, the four main aspects of at the open house. And then the beautiful thing about when we had the first opportunity to do a consultation with a client and said, this is our fee, and based on your price range, my fee is going to be roughly between this dollar amount and this dollar amount.
Right.
How do you feel about that? I said, well, as long as you deliver on everything that you promised that you were going to do, I'm not going to have an issue.
Yeah.
And what a beautiful thing. We just closed escrow on that. They sent it out saying, hey, you were worth every single penny and more, because they ended up paying our fee, not the seller.
Right.
The seller did not, they did not absorb the responsibility of our buyer representation agreement, and the clients felt that it was much more transparent. And I feel that they respected the relationship at a higher level.
Right. Yeah. Well, that it's actually a relationship. It's actually a contract, which wasn't always happening before, right? So the real world is that the agents and people who are seeing this as an opportunity and are embracing it are going to be fine. And the people who aren't are not. Right.
Again, my experience so far, at every price point from entry-level homes to luxury, $10 million plus buyers, they feel that it's refreshing to have someone explain to them what the whole process and not make the assumption that they should know.
Right.
And just asking the question.
Agreed. So if people have questions, want to learn more, how can they reach out to you?
There's 3 different ways. The first way is through my website, www.jorgedeleon.com, or my cell phone, which is 805-794-7102, or through email at jorge.deleon@c21realestate.com.
Great. So thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us for this episode of Conversations with My Real Friends. We'll see you soon.